What's up, guys? You know what? It is actually really cold outside today, so let me go grab myself a cup of coffee, then I'll be right back. Give me 1 second. TV tricks. I'm back. I got my coffee. So, y'all like my new mug? It's the Polo Bear, and he's serving up some nice, fresh, hot, good coffee. You see that? Anyway, it's kind of cool outside, and it's actually a weekend. It's a Sunday. That's when I'm recording this. I don't know when I'll upload it, but it had me thinking, man. I've been talking a lot about some of the designer fragrances that have been released recently, and kind of in my feelings a little bit about how things have been kind of redundant. So it's cold outside. I'm relaxing today. I have on my Coach sweatshirt. You guys know the brand Coach. Anyway, I have on my Coach sweatshirt and some coffee. So you know what? I want to talk to you guys about some long-lasting designer fragrances I have in my collection. I'm actually going to do a few videos this week that harken back to great designer fragrances that I really enjoy. So these are some long-lasting designer fragrances, and I want to talk about them. So for you guys out there that like fragrances to perform, this is going to be the list for you. All right, let's talk about it. What's up, guys? My name is Darren, of course, the bow tie fragrance guy. I'm not wearing one today, but I do have quite a bit of them in my wardrobe. But today I'm going to be talking about, obviously, some fragrances that last long, like long-lasting designer fragrances. Now, long-lasting to me, 8+ hours. I mean, at the 8th hour, you don't have to go to try to pick it up. I mean, you can still get about right here and still kind of pick it up. It's still performing, in my humble opinion. For those of you that this is your first time coming across this channel, or if you've been coming across some of my videos quite often and you still haven't subscribed for some reason, do it. Well, let me ask you, please do it. It doesn't cost you anything, man, to subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell icon as well. That way, anytime new content is uploaded, you'll be one of the first people to get notified. All right, guys, I already said it in the intro, so I'm going to be talking about long-lasting designer fragrances. This is kind of the perfect day to talk about it. It's cool outside, it's raining, so most of these fragrances kind of have a little bit more of a darker or heavier scent profile that will be good for this kind of weather. Anyway, cool weather, more rainy type, environment. So that's what we're going to talk about, man. So I'm going to run the intro, and we'll be back with some long-lasting designer fragrances. So if you want to see what's on the list, you know the routine. Keep it locked right here. Let's get it. Let's get it.
The Bow Tie Fragrance Guy.
All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. Let's go ahead and jump right into this video. So the first fragrance that I want to talk about today is one that I've mentioned before when I discussed fragrances that last a long time. This fragrance lasts a long time. It's from the house of Azzaro, and this is the Most Wanted by Night. The Most Wanted by Night. And I think that's the name of this fragrance. I told you guys, there's so many flankers from a lot of these designer brands. It's like I get lost and, confuse the name sometimes. But I think the Most Wanted by Night is actually the name of this fragrance. To me, still the best from the Most Wanted collection of fragrances. This fragrance right here, man, you get some cinnamon in here. You get some leather. In this, you get some cedar wood. I definitely pick up cedar wood, leather, tobacco. If I didn't say cinnamon. And on the dry down, man, it's some ISO-E Super. And I think that really helps to kind of push the performance of this fragrance. So again, we're talking about fragrances on the list today that give me at least that 8-hour performance mark as far as, again, the overall, performance of the fragrance. And this is one of the best on the list. Now, if I were putting these in order as it pertains to how long they perform, I'm sure this will be in the top 3, but I'm not doing that. But I'm just saying, if I were, this will be. But anyway, if you're looking for something that smells great and it performs, this is going to be the list for you. So check this one out from the Azzaro Wanted line of fragrances. This one is called Azzaro, the Most Wanted by Night. No, Azzaro Wanted by Night. Told you I get confused. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list comes from the House of Replica. Well, Maison Margiela, the Replica line. You know what's coming right here, man. By the Fireplace. By the Fireplace, such a cozy fragrance, man. So warm, so inviting. I love the way this juice color has been just getting darker and darker over the course of time. One of my favorite designer fragrances in my entire collection. You guys know what this thing smells like. There's been so many people that have talked about this fragrance and done videos about it, so I don't feel the need to really go through and talk about the specifics. But what this smells like is in the name of the fragrance. It smells like you're sitting by the fireplace, so it's kind of smoky. It's got a little bit of a smoky sweetness. That's really the best way to describe this fragrance, man. Burning wood, the chestnuts, right? That's what you get with this fragrance. And again, it really performs well. So again, if you're into performance and you're looking at the Replica line, look no further than this one. It's from the House of Maison Margiela, the Replica line. This is called By the Fireplace. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list comes from the House of Costume National. All right, and I think this line overall is very underrated when it comes to their fragrances. But this one is called Soul. This is called Soul. Now, this, guys, is a fragrance that is going to feature the note of oud. All right. Again, I've said this before. As far as oud is concerned, this is one of the best oud designer fragrances that your money can buy. This, along with Gucci Intense Oud, and then Versace, I think it's Versace Pour Homme Intense or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? Versace Oud Noir. Versace Oud Noir. So those three, but this is at the top of the list right here. So it features oud. So if you like oud, definitely check this fragrance out. It opens up with a little bit of a kind of fresh spiciness. It's cardamom in here, pink pepper, and bergamot. There's also a little bit of geranium when it starts to dry down. But the highlight, of course, is going to be that leather and that oud combination in the far dry down. Great scent, great performer as well. Definitely one of those fragrances, if you're looking to break away from the norm of what everybody else that's wearing designer fragrances is smelling like, this is one that I would highly recommend you put your nose on. And of course, as the theme of the list indicates, it lasts a long time on my skin. So again, this is from the House of Costume National. This is called Soul. Where did that come from? Never mind. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list comes from the House of Valentino. This is Valentino Uomo Intense. Valentino Uomo Intense, guys. This is a stunner, man. This is one of the best designer fragrances on the planet, in my humble opinion. What's in this? Well, there's iris in this, of course, so it's definitely powdery. I'm going to put you in the mindset of Dior Homme Intense, that whole DHI line from Christian Dior. So it has the iris here. I think it has leather in this as well. And when it dries down, you get some sweetness from tonka. There's some tonka being here to sweeten this DNA up. And this thing is just absolutely dynamite in the performance category. Another one that people have said has been discontinued. Again, that could be true. I don't really go and research all the time to find out, because sometimes I think people just say that and it's not really discontinued. But this is getting harder to find, so it could be true. But if it is, guys, if you can still find this gem before it's really hard to get it in your collection, man. If you like long-lasting fragrances, this is one from the House of Valentino. This is Valentino Uomo Intense. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list is a little bit more of a modern fragrance. I think it was released in 2021. If I'm not mistaken, it's from the House of Christian Dior, and this is Sauvage Elixir. Sauvage Elixir. Man, this stuff is really good, man. And, of course, it performs really well. What it is, basically, is Dior Sauvage and add some spices to the mix, primarily cinnamon and nutmeg. And that's exactly what this smells like, man. So it's really good, and I was really, really impressed with the performance on this fragrance. You know, the original Dior Sauvage, the EDP, the Parfums, those do pretty well in the performance category as well. But this is the best of the bunch, the Elixir. So check it out. It's from the House of Christian Dior. It's Dior Sauvage Elixir. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list actually comes from the House of Gucci, and it's this Gucci Intense Oud. Gucci Intense Oud. I just actually mentioned this fragrance when I was talking about Costume National Soul. But man, this is a dynamite oud fragrance, man. Really, really, really well done. Honestly, props to Gucci on this fragrance. Another one that is said to be discontinued. It is still out there. I've always talked about Joma Shop. I don't know if they still have it or not, but That was a place that had these readily available and in stock. And if you like oud, again, this is going to be one of the best that you can get in the designer side. Oud, orbanum, incense, some amber on the dry down gives it a little bit of a resinous sweetness to this fragrance. It's dynamite. That's all I can say. Somebody commented on one of my videos before and said that they didn't get great performance. I don't know what to tell you, buddy. You know, I'm just saying what performs well on my skin. This is dynamite. So check it out. Again, if you're looking for something that's great, that smells great, that is a performer, this one gets the job done. It's from the house of Gucci. This is Gucci Intense Oud. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list, again, if I were putting these in order, this would probably be number one. This one is from the house of Prada. This is Prada L'Homme Intense. Prada L'Homme Intense, man. Just look at this bottle, man. This gorgeous black bottle. The Prada name there on the back. Beautiful insignia there on the front of the bottle. This is just a dynamite fragrance. From everything from the presentation to the fragrance itself. Another one, sadly, that's they've said has been discontinued. Now, seeing a theme. Great fragrances get discontinued. I don't know why, but it would seem that fragrances, when they do well, or when they are done well, that they will be kept alive. So it could be due to sales, I don't know, sales, ability to source the ingredients for it. I don't know. It could be a number of reasons for it, but this is one that I don't think should have been discontinued. But that's just one man's opinion. It's great, guys. Another one that kind of falls into that whole category for scent profile with the Dior Homme Intenses of the world, Valentino Homme Intense that I just talked about, because it features a note of iris. There's iris in this. There's tonka bean in this as well. There's leather. Oh, man. Again, so just imagine like a sweeter version of the original, or even a sweeter version of Tom Ford's ombre leather. That's kind of sort of what this smells like to me. But it's phenomenal. It smells great. It performs great. It's from the house of Prada. This is Prada L'Homme Intense. All right, guys, the next fragrance up on the list is another one that has unfortunately been discontinued. But, man, this is one of the best fragrances on the planet as well when you talk about designer fragrances. It's from the house of Thierry Mugler, and this is Pure Malt. Pure Malt. And this thing has just aged like fine wine. It's just gotten better over the course of time. You have whiskey, you have malt, you have coffee, patchouli, just to name some of the notes in this fragrance. And man, you talk about a fragrance that the wind catches it and it has a beautiful sillage behind it. This thing is so good, man. What happened to the days that people created stuff like this? Anyway, it performs great on my skin as well, and that performance has really gotten better over the course of time as this fragrance has macerated over the years. But it's an amazing scent. If you don't have it before prices get too crazy on it, I would highly recommend you pick up a bottle of it. It's from the house of Thierry Mugler. This is called Pure Malt. All right, guys, the next fragrance on the list is going to come from the house of Viktor and Rolf, and this is Spice Bomb Extreme. Spice Bomb Extreme, man. This has some vanilla in it. It's a little bit spicy and peppery on the top of it as well. I always thought cinnamon was in here. I don't list cinnamon, but I pick up something that's kind of a cinnamon-like spice. Could be a combination of the sweetness in it and the pepper. But anyway, this is an amazing performing fragrance. Again, the original Spice Bomb is a really, really solid one as well, but this just really enhanced the performance and added a little bit more of a spicy kick and a little bit more of a vanillic nuance on the dry down. But again, theme of the list, guys, this thing really, really does great on my skin as it relates to performance. Another classic fragrance in the fragrance community. Again, I keep saying this, man. They don't quite make them like this anymore, man. A great fragrance from Viktor and Rolf, Spice Bomb Extreme. All right, guys, and the last fragrance on the list today, this fragrance comes from the house of Givenchy or Givenchy. This fragrance is called Gentleman Reserve Privé. Reserve Privé. This one does really great in the performance category, and I honestly was a bit surprised by that. It's another one that I think would kind of fit the mold of some of the other fragrances. It's like if you could take some of the fragrances I've talked about today and put them all together in one fragrance, you might get this right here. It has a little bit of that by the fireplace in there because it has chestnut, pure malt. I just talked about it. It has whiskey in this fragrance. There's iris in here. So there's several. I've talked about the Valentino, the Prada that has the iris. So it's kind of a mixture of all those fragrances in one great bottle. And just like those fragrances, this thing really does great in the performance category. I think it came out last year, and it was one of the highlights from last year. Although by name it still was a flanker of the original Givenchy Gentleman, it didn't really smell anything like it. Big departure from the original. Smells great, honestly, and it performs. So anyway, good fragrance. Something that did come out that was really good over the last couple years from the house of Givenchy. This is Gentleman Reserve Privé. Well, that's it, guys. That is my time. I hope you enjoyed this video today, man. Some great performing designer fragrances. What are some that you have in your collection that give you really great performance? I'm talking about at least 8 hours. Of course, I would love to hear about some of those fragrances down in the comment section. As always, I sincerely appreciate you guys' time. I appreciate you guys watching the videos as well, of course. I know you don't have to watch, but you do. From the bottom of my heart, man, I sincerely appreciate that. And don't forget to make sure you take a few moments to go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And share these videos out to some other folks out there that you think could use this information or find it entertaining. Because I'm your guy, Darian. I'm the bow tie fragrance guy. I love looking good, and I love to smell amazing. So until next time, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace. Cheers.